you to speak for them, so that when you fail, they'll have someone to blame.
Young Washington, you lost in the New World.
Who does own this land, if not the one who has the will to tame it?
In the golden age of revolution, when the flames of independence had yet to be lit, a young man stood at the crossroads of destiny. Young Washington takes us back to the untold chapter of one of history's most legendary figures, George Washington, long before he became the founding father of America. This upcoming Hollywood epic dives deep into the world of the 18th century, a time of ambition, loyalty, betrayal, and war, to reveal the human behind the hero. Directed with cinematic brilliance and historical precision, the film brings to life the raw, uncertain journey of a man discovering who he must become in a world on the edge of transformation. The story begins in 1753, decades before the Declaration of Independence. George Washington, portrayed by a rising Hollywood star, is a 21-year-old surveyor in the untamed wilderness of Virginia. The colonies are restless, caught in the tension between the British Crown and the French forces expanding through the Ohio Valley. When Washington is sent on a dangerous mission by the governor of Virginia, to deliver a message to the French demanding their withdrawal from British territory, he unknowingly steps into the first spark of a global conflict, the French and Indian War. The journey through frozen rivers and uncharted forests becomes a test of endurance and courage, setting the tone for the man he will one day become. But young Washington is not just a story of war, it's a story of character. The movie delves into the inner struggles of a man torn between duty and conscience. Washington is ambitious yet insecure, brave yet burdened by doubt. His family's name carries respect but little wealth, and in a rigid colonial society, power belongs to the elite. Every decision he makes carries the weight of his desire to prove himself, not just to others, but to the voice within that whispers he's destined for greatness. As the film unfolds, we see a young man learning not from triumph, but from failure. His first command ends in disaster, his soldiers lost, and his honor questioned. But instead of breaking, Washington transforms pain into purpose. The film's middle act shifts to the chaos of battle and the complexity of loyalty. British officers treat the colonial soldiers as expendable, and Washington begins to see the cracks in the empire he once admired. He fights alongside Native American allies and witnesses the devastating toll of war on all sides. In hauntingly beautiful sequences, the cinematography captures both the violence of combat and the serenity of the American frontier, a land worth fighting for, but one drenched in blood. These experiences become the foundation of Washington's evolving ideals, his understanding of leadership, sacrifice, and the moral cost of power. Amid the war, young Washington introduces a subtle but powerful romantic subplot. He meets Sally Fairfax, the wife of a wealthy plantation owner, whose intellect and grace captivate him. Their relationship, filled with unspoken longing, adds emotional depth to Washington's journey. Through her, he glimpses the privileges of the world he aspires to join, and the pain of love restrained by duty. It's a love that shapes him quietly, teaching him restraint, dignity, and heartbreak. As the story builds toward its climax, Washington faces his greatest test yet. Betrayed by his superiors and left isolated after a disastrous battle, he must choose between blind loyalty to the British Crown or faith in his own vision of honor. Standing amid the ashes of defeat, he begins to understand that true leadership is not about glory, it's about responsibility. In one of the film's most powerful moments, Washington delivers a quiet vow to himself: "If I am to serve a king, let it be my people, not my master." This declaration becomes the emotional heartbeat of the movie, a whisper of the revolution that will one day come. The final act of young Washington is both reflective and inspiring. Having survived the war and earned respect despite his youth, Washington returns to Mount Vernon, scarred, wiser, and changed forever. The final scenes show him gazing across the Virginia fields as dawn breaks, symbolic of a new era yet to come. The camera lingers on his eyes, capturing both peace and determination, a man who now knows his destiny will one day alter the course of history. As the score swells, the narrator's voice echoes: "Before he was the father of a nation, he was a son of struggle, a student of failure, and a man who refused to surrender." With its breathtaking cinematography, emotionally charged performances, and a screenplay that blends historical depth with human vulnerability, Young Washington promises to be one of the most powerful historical dramas of the decade. It's not a story about monuments and myths, it's a story about the man behind the marble. A man who bled, loved, lost, and rose from the ashes of youth to become a symbol of endurance and freedom. Young Washington isn't just a look into America's past, it's a reminder of how one person's courage can shape the destiny of millions.